While you're rocking with us at Toxic Radio, don't forget to check us out on social media.
I want details, and I want them right now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Now you're talking, brother.
Chat with us, keep up on news. Just don't make it weird. Don't be a stalker. Don't be that guy.
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Toxic Radio. Get infected.
Master, dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
Spring is here. After months of being inside, no, your promo is done. We are finally free to go outside once again.
It's about damn time.
Make sure to make Toxic Radio part of your fun with the free app. Whether it's mowing the lawn, a round of golf,
Oh, what the hell?
bird watching, or even streaking. Whatever you're doing, make us your soundtrack. Spring is back. Make it toxic.
No, do not adjust your TV screens. This is Yianni the Greek, and I am here with my co-host, Donnie Hart, reckless Donnie Hart. Donnie, shout out to the people.
Yianni, thanks for having me on the show. Long-time listener, big-time fan, brother.
And it is my pleasure to introduce our other co-host, big-time Tim Kudgis. Just keeps getting better with age. Yes, we have a special episode for you guys here today on Hungry for Hope. We are going to dig deep into our two hosts of the show. You may have heard and know about their story a little bit, but we're going to dig in there and kind of get to behind, you know, why we are doing what we're doing here, fellas. So I think for the audience to understand that, we really need to dig into your pasts. And so what we'll do is we'll start with you, Tim. I just, so you know, tell people who you were.
Hey, Yianni, I don't think we're having a problem hearing you. Jamie, how we doing? We can't hear Yianni? This is his first time, you know, maybe having him in here. It messed up the juju.
I'm being sabotaged.
I'm not sitting in my normal chair. Yianni takes over my chair, and all of a sudden, weird shit happens. Yianni, I'm not saying I bring the magic to that chair, but I'm saying we couldn't hear you, and we can hear me when I sit there.
All right, Donnie. Well,
there we go.
Now we got our technical issues solved, and let's get right into the interview. As I teased before, you know, we want to explain to the audience why we're doing this, and I think to get there, we want to get to the core of how you guys got to here and talk about your past and everything like that. So, without further ado, Tim, just tell the audience who you were before you were co-host of Hungry for Hope podcast.
Oh, I mean that's a complex question. I would think, Yianni, because there was different me's. I would say there was exactly. I wouldn't say I was a bad person by nature, but I was also a relentless drug addict that was consistently trying to find that next high. So I never got to the point where I was robbing and stealing, but I got to the point where I was homeless and hopeless. But, you never give up, keep pushing. Like Donnie drugged this out of me in the first episode when telling my story. I always get uncomfortable and kind of weird, but it is a story to tell. Like I grew up upper middle class, great family, great support system, and I one day broke an ankle. Next thing you know, doing prescription drugs, move on to bigger prescription drugs, and then get caught up in that opiate epidemic.
I understand. So, in the words of our Hungry for Hope queen, I want to ask you what led to the addiction. Why the pain?
I don't know, I think I was depressed. First I think it was physical pain, but then it was just depression. I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be in life. I wasn't where people expected me to be. I grew up, like, when I was younger, I was bullied all the time. And I think that had an effect. I think there was a lot of moving pieces. But I think it was just how I looked at myself. And I think that was the huge issue. I didn't believe, I didn't have the hope in myself. And I think one thing led to another. It was maybe could have started off with smaller situations, but it just expanded to the point where I just didn't give a shit anymore.
I understand. We'll switch it over here. Get Donnie involved. I know he's dying to talk. Donnie, we talk about your past a lot on the show. About how you got into some legal issues. I'd like for you to just kind of share your situation as much as you want. Just kind of tell the people what exactly happened to you to lead to your downfall.
Well, Yianni, we talk a lot about my downfall, my good times wrestling, but something I share here and there, not much, is my young childhood. That's where a lot of issues that went on later in my life started. I grew up like Tim, middle class. I
was upper middle class.
Yeah, well, we weren't that good. We were in Pensacola.
It's not a competition.
We were in Pensacola, New Jersey, and as a kid, I couldn't talk. I had a speech impediment. And you know how kids are, man. It was tough. I was in special classes. I didn't get to go to school with my sister and brother. I had to take a special bus. And, kids made fun of you. I didn't have many friends when I was a little kid. And every day I'd go home and I turn on professional wrestling. That was my outlet. Kids, we have outlets. Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah, brother. Ultimate Warrior, I had to throw that in. The Legion of Doom, Hulk Hogan. These were guys who I thought in my mind as a 5-year-old that nobody would ever bully me if I, was Hulk Hogan. That was at an early age, I said, I'm going to be him. I'm going to be one of these guys. And I grew up, I did amateur wrestling. My speech got better. I got out of special needs classes. I ended up going to college. It was just a speech impediment I had when I was young. It went away, but the lasting effects, the bullying and stuff, they kind of stay with you. So I went on. I had a pretty good high school football career. Ended up getting a tragic car accident. Spent some time in the ICU over at Cooper Hospital. And I played college football, still Division II, Ohio Dominican University, Columbus, Ohio. Actually just sent a Hunger for Hope shirt out to one of my teammates today, Daryl. What's up, Daryl? Thanks for the support. But, the football thing, the college didn't work out. I tried some semi-pro football, and there I was, a 20-year-old kid and kind of lost in life. And I went back to them days when I was 5, and all I wanted to be was a wrestler. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. I didn't tell anybody because it was embarrassing. You ever try telling your mom, Yianni, you're 24? I'm going to be a pro wrestler, Ma. What would she say?
I try to bark up that tree every now and then. She keeps telling me I don't have the body for it. So,
I don't disagree with her.
It's not something, I confided in my brother. I told him, I said, Jimmy, I'm gonna go chase our dream, because it was our dream. He watched it with me. Always looked out for me, protected me from the bullies and everything. And he told me that, I was like, I'm not telling anybody, but I'm going to quit everything I'm doing, and I'm going to be a pro wrestler. And he told me, you had to agree to one thing. You're not just going to be a pro wrestler. You're going to be the greatest ever. You're going to commit everything. And I agreed to him. He was my big brother, my role model, my idol. He said, you're going to be the best. And I said, The Rock better watch out. Donnie Hart's coming. And I came in wrestling like a bat out of hell, man. I was lucky enough to train by Pretty Boy Larry Sharp of the Monster Factory. Not that scumbag Danny Cage Monster Factory they got going on now. That guy's a scumbag. This was Larry Sharp. He's the guy Danny stole the Monster Factory from. the real guy who trained the real heroes. The real, Danny Cage was a washed-up wrestler who never made it, and then he stole the company from an old guy. But we're not going to get into that, not here or there.
Maybe later.
Don't have time for that drunk. But, I was blessed to come around when Larry Sharp was still running the Monster Factory.
Sure.
I was one of the blessings of my life. He was one of the most influential people in my life. I was living every kid's dream. Larry Sharp was the biggest name in wrestling in my area, and he was training me. He took me in as a son. And, I stood out. I was a big dude. I had a football background. I was athletic. I could run. I could jump. I had a wrestling background, amateur background. I'd been training for years in the gym. I didn't walk into that wrestling ring like anybody. I was preparing for it for years, just not saying anything. I got into wrestling, man. It went great. I was living my dream. You figure, what did you want to be when you were a kid, Yianni? Work at Cast Food Distributor?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wanted to own a business, that kind of thing. Just my father, growing up, owned a bunch of different businesses in Greece before he came here. So that's kind of what I was around, and that's what I just figured I would grow up and have my own.
Well, I wanted to wear spandex and play pretend fight with other grown men, Yianni.
That was more fun.
Don't forget the body oil.
Yeah, that was me, and
He never does.
I was doing it, and it does something to you when you're signing autographs for people and they're paying for your signature and your picture. And
I thought you were saying when you wrestle around with guys, it does something to you.
It does something to you, Tim.
There's a reason he's so passionate about it.
A lot of passion, Yianni. A lot of passion's the word. I don't know if that's the word I use, but whatever works, whatever helps you. But that's what I did. The pro wrestling, man, and had its ups and downs, but still at the end of the day, I was living my dream as a 5-year-old. So it was great, man. I was on cloud 9. I couldn't believe I woke up every day. I couldn't believe Larry Sharp was my trainer. I had a lot of articles written on me. I had a lot of press, and I was making my brother proud. At the time, my brother was traveling the world, doing his own thing. And, unfortunately, that's not here because of that.
Right.
My brother passed away in 2014, and at the time I was 6'3", 300 pounds, jacked up, and I thought I was the toughest guy in the world, but I wasn't. I thought I was strong. I could do anything, and once my brother died, it just set me down quick. It's a knockout punch I didn't expect. I just couldn't handle it. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have the resources, and it left me in a bad place. My pro wrestling became an afterthought. Got caught up with drugs, and just I was in such a bad place. My mental health went quick, man. Within a year, I went from living my dream, like I said, and then I was locked up, facing life in prison, man. I got arrested, and I lost it all. That's when, I say I was sitting there in maximum security facing life in prison. That's where I was when I decided to make the change, and along the way came Hungry for Hope, man. The Hungry for Hope started in that prison cell, after I lost it all.
So I think that's why folks relate to the show so much. Your guys' pain and your situations come from two completely different places. Donnie, yours is something completely out of your control. Tim, maybe you had a little bit more control, but some other things.
Saying I deserve the ball hand?
Some other things along the way, that put you in that situation.
It's all different stories. It's all the same. You just said it. It's all the same pain.
Your story is the same as many people that are listening and many people that are in the world. So I guess my next question is, now that you're out of it, what could you have done looking back to avoid getting yourself in there? And Donnie, obviously, there was nothing you could have done to avoid what happened to your brother. There was something out of your control. But how could you control your response to it, I guess?
My response to it, man, this is why Hungry for Hope means so much to us. It started with that I didn't want anybody else to have to go through what I went through. And if they are going through it, I wanted to be there to help them, man. The thing, I shut myself off to people. I tell the story when people had got me professional help, and I would go to the offices and I would never show up. I would pull out of the parking lot. Let people help you. There's people out there that will help you. There's resources. It doesn't matter how big or strong you are. I was 27-year-old professional wrestler, 6'3", 300 pounds. I could bench press 10 of Yiannis. It doesn't fucking matter, cuz. You know,
young Yianni or in my age now Yianni? Because there's a big difference.
I didn't know there was a young Yianni.
Yeah, I just kind of came out as a 30-year-old, just walking around the earth. So, okay, I mean, you guys, Tim, I want to ask you the same question first. What could you have done to avoid getting yourself so, into that lifestyle that you couldn't get yourself out?
Here's what is going to sound maybe messed up to some people, but I'm glad I went through that shit. That made me who I am today. That made me taste just defeat after defeat. Made me hit that rock bottom, and that's what drives me today. I could have avoided it. I probably could have did a lot of different things. Probably could have sought therapy. Probably could have talked about my issues. But I don't know if I would be where I'm at today without those past issues. I'm grateful for them. They sucked when they were happening. Still hard to talk about some of the time. But I'm where I'm at because of it. So never will I say, I wish I didn't do that. I'm not proud of myself for what I did. But I'm glad I had those experiences. I'm glad I learned how to fight from my back against the wall. I'm glad I learned how to come back, how to never give up, and how to be relentless in everything that I do to be successful.
Yeah, man. Tim brought up a great point, man. I always kind of say that point. I don't want to say... people are like, well, if you go back, would you change anything? The only thing I would change is the hurt I cause family members and friends who, they were innocent victims in all this. And, when I got arrested, it was like front page of the news. They really blew it up. And I would change the hurt they had to feel.
Absolutely.
But I used to always ask myself when I was going through this, why me, why me, why me? And now I'm like, yes, me. I feel like there was a bigger plan. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than Tim. Maybe somebody bigger than us is using us. We had to go through all that so we can reach back down to other people and help them, man. And I'm blessed. I love my life today, and I love every struggle I had to go through. I wouldn't be who I was if it wasn't. And
guys, there's people hurting in the world today. Either they're grieving for something that happened to them, or they're going through an addiction issue. I mean, what advice do you have for those people?
Get that desperation of a drowning man, especially if you're facing addiction issues. You're not going to get. You need to get desperate. You need to get ready to fight, and you need to not give up. But that's what, like, they say it in the big book of AA. I know I'm not like in tune to that, but that was one of the things I always took away from it, and I use in everyday life. Whether I'm talking to people, trying to motivate people, stuff like that, is clasp onto that desperation and drown a man and make that drive you.
All I gotta say, man, if two guys like me and Tim Kudgis, man, 5 years ago or whatever, man, I sat in a prison cell. I lost everything. I lost my career, my fiance, my family, my friends. If there was something I could lose, I lost it. I destroyed everything. I burnt bridges, went back down, burned them again, pissed on them, burned them again, just to make sure. Lost hair, everything you can think of. I was at the lowest point. Every day I woke up begging to die. Every day. Tim was out there in Kensington overdosing on heroin, lost everything. Today, we run a non-profit. We have Hunger for Hope. We have great jobs, great people. Fucking two fuck-ups like us can do it. What's your excuse?
And that's what leads me to one last thing I want to say. As we talked about on a show before, but I can't stress it enough. It's my favorite thing to talk about. And it says that what advice would you give someone that went through dark times, right? Become an all-time great at what you do. We always use that term for athletes. Like, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great quarterback. Joe Montana, Floyd Mayweather's the all-time great boxer. Fuck all that, man. You could be flipping burgers at McDonald's. Be the best at that. Be the greatest. You could be detailing cars. Clean the shit out of that car. Be the greatest. No matter what you do, just push yourself to that next level and be an all-time great. Anybody can be an all-time great, but it's up to you to push yourself to get there, and that's the path. That's what makes – I want to be an all-time great sales leader, and that's what I strive for, I push for, I fight for every single day. So no matter what you want to do, whether you want to grow in something, make something better, me and Donnie want to be all-time great nonprofit runners and whatever. I don't even know the words. I'm getting all. I
Tim,
love
we're,
this.
We're
speech.
seeing a side of you today that
Just be a fucking all-time great.
Seeing a side of you today that I'm really enjoying.
Tim brings up a great point. My brother always emphasized, he's like, whatever you do, Donnie, be the best. One of the greatest quotes ever. I'm a Martin Luther King Jr. guy, man. I love him. He says a quote, man, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep the street, even as Michelangelo painted or Beethoven composed music. Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep the streets so well that all the hosts in heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. It's the greatest quote ever.
You guys hit rock bottom, and you bounced off rock bottom, and then you started this show, and you started the nonprofit. Tell me a little bit about that process. As we
Wait, somebody there?
Hold up, somebody there.
We have a guest here.
We have a guest who can relate. Guest. We have L. Wingadour. Bill Simmons is in the studio, man. He heard our story, and he must have came from wherever. I feel like everybody with a comeback story, they come. We're like the back call.
Hey, man, I listened to everything you guys were saying, and I couldn't agree with you more, and everything you said. I've been through it all. My story, which you went in Wing Bowl. I was on top of the world, and then I jumped off. I'm not going to say I fell off. I jumped off because I made choices that weren't good for me. Did my time, learned a lot about myself, and, decided to change. I thought I've always been a guy with a good heart, but, I decided that, life is all about boomerangs. What you throw out, you come back to you, man, big time. And, I want to be good to people. I want to help people. That's what it says in the Bible, man. It's all help one another, love one another. What you're doing here, dude, I'm proud of you. I was here when you started this stuff. And look where you are now.
You were our first guest, in-studio guest, man. You were the first guy I thought of. I think the world of you. We've known each other for a while. We've seen each other. I talked to you when I was incarcerated.
Right.
I was around when you were incarcerated. You see my family go through this. I seen your family go through this. I guess you really. I gave a quote today. Yeah, success is awesome. Seeing somebody succeed, that's cool. When I give them the thumbs up, but when you see somebody who succeeded, then they failed and they lost it all, like us, like me, like Tim, like you, and then you see them rebuild, man.
No, I just kind of failed. I didn't really succeed and then failed. I started off failing.
But there's still just something about it.
Listen, I feel bad for people to go through bad things, but in a way, I think it's good for people to go through bad things.
Absolutely.
Because that's the only way you're going to learn and grow. I've done house clean outs. I've driven trucks since I've been out, and people are like, "What are you doing this? You're all Wingadour." I'm like, "Listen, you got to carry the crown to wear the crown, and you have to get the crumbs to get the bread. That's how I work." And I was brought up blue collar, and I'm not better than anybody else. You know what I mean? I hustle. That's what I like to do. I try to earn my way back and show people, listen, if you want to change your life, you can make a decision to do that. But the way I do it, as I call it, it's a champion's choice, no matter what it takes. Change your life. You create it here in your mind. That's what I do. That's what I've learned. And, it's turned things around for me big time. Big time. Do I still have struggles and personal shit going on? Absolutely. Bring it. I'm good. I'm always going to be good. You know what I mean? You have a choice of how you want to wake up in the morning and feel. That's what I wanted to tell you guys. But everything you talked about, man, I agree with it. So, look where you all are now from where you were before.
Yeah, man.
I was sitting in a cell, hating my cellmate, and fighting with him every other day.
The immortal words of Bill L. Wingadour.
It sounds crazy, but I watched Wingadour growing up. Like I told people, I remember going to Chickies and Pete's as a kid, and I think it was Freddie Mitchell was there or something. He was going to be there, and I see this line of people, and I'm like, everybody must be there for Freddie Mitchell. He was like the Star Eagles player, and I'm looking to see the line, and it's this big guy with blonde hair from my town, my area. It was you. There was more people in line to see you. And I was a young kid, man, and I looked
but
up
none of those people would ever invite me to their house to eat. So, no matter what.
But I got to see you at your height, and then I got to meet you, and you were friends with Larry. I met your son, your family, and then I watched you hit your own rock bottom, and I was still doing good at the time, and then by the time you were coming out, I got in my rock bottom, and watching you come out of jail, man, I gotta say, Bill, and put the pieces back together, it might be one of the most influential people in my life. Watching what you did, watching you come out, you wrote a book, and I was like, man, if this guy can do it, he's like me,
right?
Because you were in the media, man. It really breaks you down. Like, I remember talking to family members, and they like want to come out of the house for weeks because I'm on the front page. Pro wrestler arrested. It was embarrassing.
Listen, I know.
It's a lot of pressure.
And you were national news, so was
Daily
I.
News front page. El Tocador. You know what I mean? I had people send me that.
Mine was the front page that said.
It's scary being a public figure, being kind of famous in the area, and being a crazy son of a bitch, because you never know what I'm out doing. And I'm all good, man. God knows I got a good heart, but I'm still got that side of me that is still a little
The
wild.
one thing I kept on
you
saying,
too, bro.
I was like, where was all this press when I was doing the wrestling? I never got the. They act like I was all good, and I was telling people, I'm like, I'm not that big of a wrestler. Like they're telling me, they put me on the front page. My name was Reckless Donnie Hart. They said Reckless in the ring and now out of it. And they put this big picture of me with a mace, and I was on the front page twice of the Daily News.
Dude, that's
Still got that mace though.
And,
he does.
And like I said, it was embarrassing. And you were on that front page, and watching you come out and how you handled it, how you were able to step by step it away. You stayed positive. You were able to rebuild your life. That definitely gave me hope, man. I'm like, if this maniac can do it, maybe this maniac can do it.
It's not over, man. For me, I'm every day I just try to stay progressive, man. And I'm always thinking of different ideas, how to brand the El Wingadour name, and come out with more flavors of the sauce, and maybe get a restaurant, maybe corner bar, El Wingadour's. I'm always thinking of that. Right now, with everything going on, you have to step back and take a look at the big picture. I just treat life like a chess game, man. There's moves that come at you. There's moves that you got to make. And at the end of the day, you got to see where you're at on this chess game of life. And you really do. There's going to be hard shit coming at you. There's going to be easy shit coming at you that can hurt you in the end. And there's going to be hard shit that's going to help you in the end.
Yep.
It's a chess game, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you just try to move as smooth as you can and maneuver the best way you can.
Make the best move you have.
And that's what my life is. I move, man. I just, you know what I mean? I got my family, my sister, my mom, my kids, my wife. I have all that, and I'm blessed. And every day I grasp that. I embrace that. And when you embrace that, more comes to you. And then you're always going to have your falls, but you always have to say, okay, this happened for a reason, and move on. Can we rectify it or whatever, So, more to come here.
It's really great advice, and I'm sitting here in the studio with Reckless Donnie Hart, with Tim Kudgis, with El Wingadour. Guys, I want to ask you, I want to open the floor to this. I mean, what does hope mean to you guys? We're here, we're hungry for hope. What is hope to us?
Hope? I mean, I'm a faith guy, so, I believe in hope, but I always know that nothing's impossible. It's always out there. You know what I mean? You just have to stay persistent in what you want to do and know that there's a higher power out there helping you. That's my hope. Like, I got this. You know what I mean? I got this. That's my hope. I mean, look what you turned this into, dude. You know what I mean? People that are watching or listening to you now has grown with you. You're going to have a good audience. You're going to do great. You know what I mean? I think you're going to do great.
I'm happy to do it with you, man. Hope to me, Yianni. Hope is my message. Hope is my life today, man. Hungry for hope is my message of hope to people. And basically that message is a guy who lost it all, man. I lost my brother. Anybody who's out there who lost a tragic death, a sibling, a loved one, wife, husband, anybody who's dealt with that, man, they can relate to that pain. Anybody who's been incarcerated, who threw their life away, who let their friends and their family down. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I can't describe it. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. Hope is what I do now. Hope is being able to come out of that dark place, to come out of that. When I say rock bottom, that's like the nicest way I can put it. I was way below rock bottom. I couldn't get any lower, man. I woke up every day wishing I died. I was too scared to die, but I didn't want to live. And somehow something bigger than me, man. Like I said, this isn't all me, man. Something bigger drove me out of there, and I made that promise to myself. If I make it out of this, if I make it out of this, I don't know who I made the promise to, that I'm going to reach back down. And that hope is me reaching back down. That hope is the guy who sat on that jail cell feeling hopeless with nothing to live for, wanting to die, and making it out of that place. And now running a nonprofit, now being a productive member of society, now helping people, now running a podcast. That's hope, man. If you can't look at my story and you can't find hope, anybody down in that dark place, I've been there. I've done it, man. Let me be your voice. Look at me. Look at my story. You can do it. If nobody's told you, I believe in you. I love you. Let me be your hope. That's hope to me, Yianni.
It's beautiful. Tim?
That's good, man. That's good.
To me, it's it's life. Before I just lost my train of thought for a second. I was living to die. Now I'm waking up every day grateful that I opened my eyes. I'm living a good life. And it's all because I was able to get that hope back. I was able to believe things were going to be better. I was able to envision it, and I was able to fight for it and get to where I want to be. But, yeah, I mean, without it, if I was back to being hopeless, it would be the same position. It would be depressing, not wanting to live, not being grateful for every little thing, life that I just never want to go back to. So, yeah, hope in a short phrase is life.
We covered a lot about your guys' past, and basically the last thing I really want to get into is really want to ask is what haven't I asked? What's the question that you wish that I asked that you want to give an answer to? And I'll open the floor. I guess Bill, you can go first if you're ready.
What haven't you asked me?
What haven't I asked you? This is your second time on the show here, so we've asked a lot of questions, but we want to dig in there.
Well, I think that I make the way that I carry myself and how I treat people. I think that I carry myself like I'm happy all the time. And I am. I mean, I'm good all the time. But I do have my frustrations and stuff. I mean, I truly deal with a lot every day. I mean, people have no clue. But not to say that to feel sorry for me. I don't have no clue what you go through and what you go through. But I put on the best person I am. I'm not a fake guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and my question, your question is, you should ask me, is like, how hard is it to keep this up as many times as you get knocked down?
I like that question.
I mean, how many times is it, how hard is it to get up? Every time I get up, but it gets harder every time. And in the back of my mind, someday I say to myself, Bill, is there ever a time? And I've talked to my daughter about this. I said, I don't know, man. I might just give up on this. And she's like, Dad, you don't do that. I go, you know what? You're right. So that conversation's over. So that's the question. Like, this is tough, man. This is not easy.
Hey, daughter's smart, man.
To move every day, and like he said, a challenge. And I come out with this, and I wrote about this in my book. You got to challenge it. You got to vision it. You got to challenge it, and then you got to accomplish it. And then you pick the champion's choice to get it done, no matter what it takes. You have to be so disciplined as a person, dude. It's hard. I'm trying to teach my 15-year-old son to discipline himself. You know how hard that is?
Big shout out to Sean, man. I see him grow up. I love the kid.
Yeah, he's just a 15-year-old punk now. Yep. And I laugh at
him. Athlete.
We've all been there, too.
Riding a motorcycle around the neighborhood. And but, I love him to death. But I told him, I said, dude, if you decide to go down that road of, taking risks, just be prepared for the consequences and be accountable.
Definitely.
If that's the life you want to get, I can only tell you what I felt and what I've been through. I said, I just don't want to see nothing bad to happen to you. But sometimes you need your kid to learn a lesson to be a great
on his own.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
On his own. Because you can't ever coach your own kids.
You're too invested in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill mentioned his book. We have a lot of viewers giving a lot of feedback. They wanted to know the name of your book and where they could get it. I know it, but let's ask you.
Well, it came out a few years ago. You could probably still get it on Amazon.
I have a copy. I read it, man.
Yeah, it's called Snow on the Barbed Wire. And It just came to me inside, sitting in a cell when it was snowing like crazy out when I was locked up.
That's where the name came from, right?
Yeah, and then I just...
It's a cool name.
Yeah, it was the snow was coming down,
great
but
book.
it wouldn't land in the courtyard. I'm like, this place is so evil, the snow won't even land. But on the barbed wire, it was 6 inches thick, and you could see it sparkling. And I tell people that know this, it looked like fish scale a little bit, you know? So it was sparkling. So I said, the snow on the barbed wire is beautiful. And then boom, I said, oh my God, that's the name of my book. It's just like, there you go. Somebody gave me that answer. So Snow on the Barbed Wire, check it out. It's a good book.
It's a cool title, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Donnie, let's get you back on the camera. All right. What question do you want to answer for the world?
I want to hear.
Any question.
That's a great question. Yanni, you became a hell of an interviewer. I love that question.
I
Really
learned from
good.
the best.
That's a really good question, man.
Brian Fish.
Shout out to Fishman. The question I'd ask myself, Jan, do you regret making that decision in that cell, maximum security, surrounded by killers, man, with no hope, facing life in prison, no positives, and I decided I was gonna live. I wasn't, I'd ask myself that: do I regret that decision to keep on living, to not give up? It was so everything told me to give up, man. Everything was leading. Like I said, I was too scared to death. But if I wasn't, man, I would have been out of here as quick as I could. If there was a button I could push, kind of like this button, if there's a button I could push, I would have pushed it. But, man, I didn't want to live, but I was too scared to die. And if you ask me if I regret that decision to live, to fight back, to go find whatever that hope was, I had no idea what it was. I don't regret a second of it. It was the greatest decision I ever made in my life. Every day I wake up, I'm so happy I made that decision. I'm so grateful. That's why you see me walking around this big goofy-ass smile, even on bad days. Like Bill said, man, it hasn't been easy, man. It's been a hell of a... When you destroy your life, it's not just like one day you wake up. No, I'm profiting a podcast, man. Even today, it's not easy. I'm not great. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I made mistakes since I've been released.
Yeah, I know you hired me.
But I never went backwards. That was the biggest thing, man. I never... sometimes I stumbled, but I never went backwards. I never got back in trouble. I just kept on. Some days I'm like, man, I could have did better, but I never got in trouble again. I never went backwards. Some days I didn't go forward. I'll be honest, and I was a stalemate. But that was a lot better than going backwards. I never once went backwards since I've been released, and not one day did I wake up and regret the decision to fight, to not give up. That's what I'd ask myself. Do I regret it? Absolutely fucking not, Yianni.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Tim, spotlight's on you. It's your favorite question of the whole interview.
What's something that you do for fun that maybe nobody would expect?
Okay.
Tim Kudgis, what is something you do for fun? I'm the Gus interviewer. That nobody would expect.
I watch Golden Buzzer America's Got Talent clips on YouTube and cry sometimes because I get emotional when I get to see the people, the exact face they make when they accomplish their dreams.
That's amazing.
Cool. That's a great answer.
Yeah, it is.
Because I understand, like, when something good happens to somebody, you feel their emotion. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's great. That
is cool.
See, he had the longest to think about it.
I never got to hating. Like, I sit back and I like root for like people I really care. Like I never. And even the people in my life, people are like, oh, there's haters. I don't really deal with them. I don't know. I guess when you put good people in your life, I never like. And if I do deal with them, they're too scared to ever be honest about it, and they're hiding. But the people I have around me, they're like rooting for me. They're like texting me, like, Donnie, fuck yeah, dude. I heard you did this.
Right.
Like, keep going.
That's a great point. I never understood. Hey, I'm a draft guy. I'm a sports guy. We all know that. But like, I never understood the people that just root against.
Sports guy?
I never understood the people that just root against someone. Like, man, so-and-so sucks. Like, just root for the people
Well, that's
that you
just
like.
people that are not happy with themselves.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Let me interject. Unless they're Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I was going to say that.
That goes without saying.
Yeah,
right?
it's all good.
We had one of our listeners. He asked, what moral, no matter how bad you felt, that you never broke? Something, no matter how bad things got, you still kept this moral.
That's a good question.
For me, man, there were days I always took responsibility. Even on my darkest days, Bill, you've been there. You know, you're facing life in prison. There's outs for you. There's outs if you're not a person of principle. They come to you, they ask you, hey, Bill, Donnie, you know, what can you tell us about this person? I refuse to ever put the blame on anybody, to ever tell on anybody, to ever not take responsibility. I was willing to do life in prison by sticking by that. I didn't want to, absolutely not, but I could sleep good at night knowing I stayed. So anybody who, you know, we got them things, you know, rats and stuff like that. They're the worst kind of people. Somebody who gets in trouble, they're doing something wrong, and then instead of taking responsibility, they go tell on people. I know you wrote about this in your book, Bill, man.
That's a
I saw it in your book.
Cheap way.
They're the worst kind of people. They're the people who who are willing to tell on people that they're probably child molesters. Just to be honest, they're probably chronicle liars. they touch kids. Absolutely. If you tell on people you touch kids, I'm certain of it. No, I'm just saying this is
that
something.
A fact? Is that a fact?
It's a fact.
I'm going on Wikipedia right now.
I don't know. Who do you hang out with, man?
I'm just saying. You can say.
Yo, I'm backing out of this studio.
I'm just
you
saying.
Know that, right?
I don't hang out with them people. I don't want to be anywhere near them. I wish
you.
nothing but horrible things on them.
Well, that's what happened.
I took
to him when I was
responsibility,
locked up.
man. I took responsibility, and there's nothing cool about that. I'm not like glorifying, don't snitch. No, I'm just saying you be a fucking man.
Here's the thing.
Don't be a fucking snitch. Be a man.
Wait,
God
so
damn
you're
it.
glorifying? That's it.
I found out if you're accountable for your shit and you tell people the fucking truth, excuse my language, I don't know if I'm supposed to curse.
You can do whatever you want, Bill.
When you admit what you did or admit who you are, whatever, you just come clean. It takes the power away from the people to talk shit on you. They're like,
it's the greatest thing I ever did, man.
Like my wife would say, "You're a fucking asshole," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right," and then the argument would end.
Yeah.
Where
do you go from there?
It's just about taking responsibility, man. At the end of the day, I'm Donnie Hart, and I fucked up. I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry to my friends and family. I wish I could change it, but I can't. But I can change the future, and I can take responsibility. I can be a man.
It's like
but everybody you're trying to tell that to, you show me a perfect person, I'll show you a liar because they all got this shit.
Absolutely.
So that's
best thing I heard.
That's like watching people, they say, picture them in your underwear, you know what I mean? And you won't be nervous saying a speech. But just, they know that you're talking to somebody that's got hidden secrets or hidden issues, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, it was tough. I mentioned it before, even like coming out of jail. When I got out, the last thing I wanted to bring up, was my jail time. They were the darkest days of my life. There were times I was embarrassed of, first off. I didn't want to think about them. I didn't want to talk about them. I went out of my way. I didn't tell people about it. And, I mentioned I remember going on a date with a girl. She's like, you're the greatest guy I ever met. I never knew they made guys like you. And I didn't tell her anything about my jail. And then, a couple weeks in, she's like, my cousin Googled you. Like, all right.
They use that fancy handheld machine.
She had a bulletproof.
Never talked to me again, and now I think I look at this person like, and since then I was like, I'm being me. I'm not. I'm putting it all. I don't shake somebody's hand and say, hey, Donnie Hart, a professional wrestler, went to jail, fucked up everything. My brother died. I took it real hard. You want to get something to eat? I got a buddy. I got a wing joint.
I've seen you introduce yourself like that to people. So are you sure?
Nah, but it's just not about running. I don't run from my past. I don't embrace it. I would never glorify the decisions I made. But at the end of that, it's only me. I've tried. The only person I can be is Donnie Hart, man. He's flawed. He's not perfect. But it's me. You're never going to meet somebody who say, oh, Donnie Hart pretending he was something he's not. Nah, they're going to say, he was a dickhead or whatever. Or, I don't claim to be somebody I'm not. I'm me. I'm not perfect, but I try every day to be better.
A perfect person is at the most 80%. 80%. That's it. And nobody's 80%. I'm not. No. I'm 65.
Yeah. The person who tells you that they're perfect probably doesn't like themselves all that much. I mean, it's that simple. The person who needs to have everybody know, oh, I'm perfect, oh, I'm this, I'm that. They probably hate themselves, and they probably go home.
The thing is, look, and I'll cut this, and there's a fine line. Like I tell people, be confident in who you are.
Sure.
But there's a difference between cockiness and confidence. But you can tell who they are, and I love people that go after something, get it done, and they're confident about it because that's contagious. That's contagious.
Absolutely.
So, people still have bullshit, but if they're confident in what they're doing and they're moving in a good direction, I feel that energy from them, man. I love that.
That's just someone you want to be around.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It's contagious. Like, you want to be that.
Anybody who's listening, like I said, man, when I first started putting my life back together, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like I just came out and embraced it wasn't easy, man.
No,
so
it's
don't
that
think
self-discipline.
you're not there. It's not. Like I try to, we highlight the good times now, but there were so many bad times in Bill's life, my life, even after the bad stuff. Put our life back together. Same thing with Tim.
Look, if
it wasn't easy, man.
If we didn't have bad times and it was all good times, we would never enjoy ourselves. We have to have the downside
you
to enjoy the good stuff.
You have to face adversity. I mean, again, listen, I never did the kind of stuff you guys did. I never.
You're still young, kid.
I never got caught. I never got caught.
Yeah.
I never got caught.
So now he's bragging.
We're here with the Yianni Vodka's comeback show.
But I've had lows, right? I've had times where I didn't like myself. I've had adversity in my life, right? I've been
Stub your toe.
I've been embarrassed. I've been, humiliated, publicly, whatever. Like,
Can you explain one of those times?
Stuff.
And how have you,
Absolutely
Yianni,
not.
Yanni, serious question. Now you didn't go through this, but everybody, I try not to. We all have struggles, man. Yeah. You don't have to, get arrested after winning 5 wing balls or get arrested after being a pro wrestler. We all have struggles.
That wasn't my plan either. No.
How did you overcome, your bad days, Yianni?
Yeah, I mean, like at work, like I'll humiliate myself like once a week just because I feel a certain way and it's not the way it is. You know what I mean? The only thing you could do is just kind of understand that, okay, this is one situation. I handled it poorly. Learn from it and handle it differently the next time it comes up. And you know what I mean? And when people see you change your flaws and see that you care and want to better yourself, they will let you do that and help you do that.
The greatest thing a person we had we were talking about him today, Dwayne Fletcher. We need him in studio. He runs Guns Down, Gloves Up. He was a gunshot victim. He lived that crazy life in and out of jail over 40 times on the streets of Philly, involved in the gang life, and now he trademarked the Guns Down, Gloves Up. He has a nonprofit where he gives the kids gloves instead of the guns and teaches them. And he said, we asked him the question, like, what was the one mistake in your life? He's like, I don't call them mistakes, man, because I learned from all of them, man. So it's not a mistake.
It's an
if
opportunity.
you learn from something, you remember that, Tim, when he was telling
business
us?
talk coming out of you.
And yeah, his words, man, I could just, I could tell when people are real. Dwayne Fletcher, his words, man, they just, they really changed me. And even last week we had Joshua Santiago of Empowering Cuts, man. He was a guy who grew up he grew up with a mom who was a drug addict, a dad who was a drug addict, and mom wasn't around. Grew up on the streets of Kensington, doing stuff you do on the streets, and now he gives his life to helping them people caught up on the streets. He helps the homeless. I went to his grand opening. It's just something so powerful about seeing somebody. Like I said, the first thing I wanted to do when I got out of job, I wanted to get away from it all. And then I realized, like, I can't run from my past, man. I dove back in like the maniac I am. I was like, I wasn't ready when I first got out, But when I started getting shit together, I was like, I'm diving back in. I'm helping these motherfuckers. Because when I look at somebody going through something bad. You know what I see when I look at them, Bill? I see me. I see you. I see Tim. I see Yianni having a bad day at work. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I see myself in them, and I want to help.
Poor me.
If they're not a snitch or child molester, of course.
Do you ever snitch on anybody at work, Yianni?
They touch kids, I'm going to kill them. Actually. But you know what I'm saying. I have a funny way of saying things, but
certainly you do. Let's talk about the good times, guys. We are in the process of opening up our Hungry for Hope headquarters. It's in the works right now. Let's talk a little bit about what's our plans. Tell the audience, what are we doing with this?
Tim, you want me to get this?
Yeah, I can take this. So the headquarters is going to be to help people get that second chance. I know when I was in a recovery house, first getting sober, all that stuff, there was a lot of people who had hard times finding jobs because, for somehow by the grace of God, right, or whatever, I kept a clean record. Which was a straight blessing when going.
Need better police in America. That's all I gotta say, brother. Somebody should have got fired. Their boss should have got fired.
But there are other people that need that second chance. They need to learn how to build a resume. They need to be coached on how to interview. And we have people that do interviews all day with me and Yianni for a living. We're going to help coach people. We're going to help people get their resumes ready. Hopefully in the future we'll have somebody helping with credit repair for everybody that needs it. and then being able to supply dress clothes for work. I mean, all the donations when it comes from the T-shirts or the GoFundMe is going to help help this vision come to fruition. And the more that we get, the more that we're able to do and give back and give everybody a second, even a third or fourth chance. Some people need more than two.
As long as they're willing, man. Hungry for Hope. We're gonna have a grand opening. It's crazy, you know. We got a building now. We haven't talked much. We're getting it ready. You know, I was on the phone with some people, and it was just amazing. And I tell them my story, and I'm waiting for them to laugh. You know, these are like, I don't want to say who, but they're powerful people in politics, and they're very big names. And then I get done telling the story, and I wait for the laugh, and they're like, I'm all in. They're like, how can I help? What can we do? Let's go. The community's behind us. Because it's just crazy. You have this vision, and you don't know if it's the right thing, but you know it's your vision, it's your heart. And then when you have other people who are people that people listen to, and they actually co-sign you, and they say that, man, that I realize we're on the right track. So Hunger for Hope, like Tim said, it's going to be our headquarters. It's going to be our base. We're going to help people. If you're hungry, come to us. We'll feed you. You need a job, come to us. We'll help you get a resume. You need rehab, you need treatment, come to us. We'll get it for you. You need counseling. You lost a brother. You tragically lost somebody like I did. Come to us. There's help. We'll get you. You know, I didn't want to walk into a professional doctor's office, but I would have walked into somebody who was like me, who went through what I went through, and I would have talked to some jamoke like me, who talked like me, looked like me, you know, grew up and be like me. That was a rap song.
I got to Google jamoke. I don't know. Is that like a crumb?
I think Ray Mershon always says that. Ray, the Northeast Beast. I'm using your word. He always says that we're working. He's like, this jamoke. But, no, we just want to be there for people, man. Our headquarters is located in Clementon, right next to Toxic Radio. There you go. We're doing amazing things. I can't speak on yet.
Talk about the weekend.
We're gonna have a grand opening, and we're also
question, Donnie. Someone wants to know if there's gonna be volunteering opportunities and stuff like that.
Jill, I see your question, Jill. There's gonna be tons of volunteering, man. We work on volunteers, man. We're gonna be opening in a couple weeks, man. We're gonna have a grand opening.
We're gonna have our first intern.
Yeah, we just got some interns that are helping us, and it's so amazing. I can't believe even the last week of the people we talked to, the people helping us, the things we're doing. And even this Saturday, we're going to be at Blue Link Wireless, AT&T supplier. They're in Clementon.
Retail.
We're in Clementon. We want to really open our arms to the community of Clementon, the community of Gloucester Township. We want to help people in this community. We want to be part of this community. We're here. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We want to help this community.
It's going to be a special edition podcast.
Yeah, we're doing our live podcast Saturday.
We're going to be there from 12 to 4. At,
when's the podcast, though? Just 2 to 3, right, Tim?
2 to 3.
But we'll be there from 12 to 4.
We might have some T-shirts to give out. And if you want some AT&T phones, if you're an AT&T customer, or if you're a cop, firefighter, nurse, or any essential worker, you get 25% off that AT&T bill.
Sell it.
Yeah, but and it's great because we're going to have our grand opening soon, and at our building, there's going to be so much, man. Basically, it's going to be a place for anybody to go who needs somebody by their side, man. Any jamoke.
Guys, we're coming to the end of our show here. It's been an amazing show with you guys. And Bill, thank you for
Did you just cut us off?
Yeah, Yianni.
A little bit.
You need to calm down.
I just
minutes.
have one question left for you guys, and it's very simple. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you're doing with Hungry for Hope? Bill, why do you do the things you do now?
Well, to be honest, it makes me feel good inside. When you were talking about, are you taking volunteers? You have to, because if you're all about helping people, no matter what it is, people that volunteer need that. They need that. So that's why I do. I like the feeling, and plus I need some good karma coming back to me, and that's to me, my family. And I just put it out there, and I just enjoy it. I just enjoy all this. These guys are amazing. You guys, all of you, of what you're doing here, and I want to help any way I can. I have an idea we'll talk about off the air, but I got my wheels turning where I want to be part of doing the same thing.
Gentlemen, take us home.
Take us home.
I want to be able to develop more people into all-time greats. Give people those opportunities. Get people striving to find their why, which is very important, and being the best at what they can be in. That's what I want to be able to coach them to get that job. Make the resume to get that job. Give them that second chance, and then watch them drive. Watch them take all the pain that was caused the previous months, days, years, whatever it may be, and turn that into victory, and turn that into gratitude, and turn that into hope.
I do it, Yianni, because that feeling. March 2014, I was a man who was on top of the world, man. I was walking to arena in West Virginia to wrestle in front of thousands of people. Scott Steiner, my brother was excited. I told him, we were like, man, we're finally doing this. This was the big turning point. Before I opened that door, I got a phone call. I lost my brother, man. I was the first to find out. It was the worst feeling of my life. Dropped to my knees. I cried. I got up. I punched the glass. I was bleeding. It was raining. I drove 7 hours home. Never walked into that arena. Worst feeling in my life. I can't describe it. Like I said, I don't wish it upon any enemy. Obviously, other things happen as a direct result of that. But that feeling, them 7 hours, driving home, losing your idol, your role model, the person who's been there. That's why I do this. Because anybody else going through that time, anybody else going through something so tragic, man, I don't want anybody else to go through that alone. Nobody, man. That drive, that feeling it felt losing my brother destroyed my life, but now it's rebuilding my life. The worst thing that ever happened to me is now the best thing that ever happened to me. That is why I do it.
Fellas, great show. Any last words?
Yeah, right now we got the 25 or Hungry for Hope shirts on sale. They're not really on sale. We're just asking for a donation of $20 to the Hungry for Hope nonprofit. If you need a chip,
Wild Bill or hell, Wingadour.
Call me Wild Bill. Call me anything you want.
Wingadour bought 5, man. Thank you for your support, man. All this, we put all of our money, all of our free time.
Now, look.
Well, that's a special edition one. They didn't get released yet.
I also want to give a shout out, man. We're big into this community. We're into good people doing good things in the community. Scott Marks, he runs Marksman Transportation, man. They're based out of Blackwood, New Jersey. I know a lot of people don't want to work during this, but he's hiring. He needs people. They pay good money. They're good people. They've been around for 25 years. He's looking. We'll put up the Marksman. You see it up there.
Yeah, that's clever.
Scott Marks. Yeah, Scott Marks, Marksman Transportation. They're hiring. They're going to pay you good money. Do you have a CDL? Come, please. The number is 856-782-3304. Me, Tim, Yianni, if you apply and you are qualified and you go in for an interview, you don't need to get the job. We're going to give you a free Hungry for Hope shirt, and we're going to give you a bag from our favorite coffee, our favorite sponsor, Bean the Bean. Please, Marksman Transportation, check them out. They need good people. They are good people. Check them out. Yianni, take us home, cuz.
Big things are happening, Hungry for Hope Nation. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I'm out of here.
Hey, took me out.